my channel. Just in case you don't know who I am, I'm Katie, but you can also call me Dinky. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoy this particular video, don't forget to click on the thumbs up and the like. And don't forget to share, because maybe many more people who may enjoy my videos. And let's get into today's video, shall we? I am going to just talk about the elephant in the room, and that being my lipstick colour. Yes, I am wearing green. Two different greens actually. One of them is actually new, and I wanted to just try it. And I thought, why not try it in a new video and see what I think. So, in today's video, I'm going to be carrying on with my mini-series, and sadly, for the time being, this is going to be the last female serial killer that I'm going to be focusing on, and that is Beverly Allitt. Let's get into talking about her. She was born Beverly Girl Allitt, and she was born the 4th of October 1968. And she grew up in the village of Corby Glen, which is near Grantham in Nottinghamshire. And Beverly has 2 sisters and 1 brother. Her parents, Richard, her father, worked as an off-licence, and her mother was a school cleaner. I'm sorry, I got it wrong then. And she attended Charles Road Secondary Modern School after having failed to enter Kesterton and Grantham Girls' School, because back then you had to take tests to get into these schools. When Beverly Allitt was growing up, she often wore bandages and casts over wounds that she would use to draw attention to herself, without actually allowing the injuries to be examined by a medical professional. And as she was becoming overweight as an adolescent, she became increasingly attention-seeking, often showing aggression and manipulation towards others. And she spent a lot of time in hospitals, seeking medical attention for a string of physical ailments, which culminated in the removal of her perfectly healthy appendix, which was slow to heal as she insisted on interfering with the surgical scar. And she was known for self-harm and had to resort to doctor hopping as medical professionals became familiar with her attention-seeking behaviours. Beverly's behaviour in her teenage years in particular seemed to be typical of Munchausen syndrome. And when her behaviour failed to elicit the desired reactions in others, she began to harm others to satisfy her desire to be noticed. She decided to train as a nurse, which was suspected of odd behaviour, such as smearing feces on walls in the nursing home that she worked at. Her absentee level was at a very high level, and the result of a string of illnesses that she had made up. Her boyfriend at the time said that she was aggressive, manipulative, and deceptive, claiming false pregnancy and as well as rape before the end of their relationship. And despite history of poor attendance and successive failure of her nursing examinations, she was taken on as a temp 6-month contract at the chronologically understaffed Grantham and Estevan Hospital in Lincolnshire in 1991. And this is where she started to work on a children's ward, which was Ward 4. And there were only 2 trained nurses on day shift and 1 for nights when she started, which might explain how her violent attention-seeking behaviour went undetected for as long as it did. So I'm going to be talking about her crimes now. And on February 21st, 1991, her first victim was 7-month-old Liam Taylor. And he was admitted to Ward 4 with a chest infection. Beverly Allitt went overboard on reassurance to his parents for them to try and go home for the night and rest. And when they returned, she told them that Liam suffered respiratory emergency, but thankfully he recovered. And she volunteered for extra night duty so she could watch over this baby boy. And his parents chose to spend the night. And Liam had another respiratory emergency crisis before midnight. And thankfully he came through it, although satisfactorily. Beverly was left alone with Liam. His condition worsened dramatically, becoming deathly pale, and the red blotches appeared on his face. And she summoned the resuscitation team. And fellow nurses were confused by the absence of alarm monitors going off, because normally they do go off, don't they, if something happens. And he suffered cardiac arrest and suffered severe brain damage. Death recorded as heart failure for the baby. It was just 2 weeks later, Beverly's next victim was 11-year-old Timothy Hardwick, who had cerebral palsy, and he was admitted to Ward 4 following an epileptic fit on March the 5th, 1991. And Beverly took over his care, and again, after a period of when she was alone with the boy, she summoned the emergency resuscitation team, and despite the team's best efforts, which included a paediatric specialist, were unable to revive him. An autopsy later failed to provide an obvious cause of death, although his epilepsy was officially blamed. Beverly's third victim was 1 year old, Kaylee Desmond, and she was admitted to Ward 4 on March 3rd, 1991, with a chest infection, from which she seemed to be recovering well. 5 days later, with Beverly in attendance again, Kaylee went into cardiac arrest in the same bed where Liam Taylor had died a fortnight before. The resuscitation team were able to revive her, and then they transferred her to another hospital in Nottingham, where attending physicians discovered an odd puncture hole under her armpit during a thorough examination. And they also discovered an air bubble near the puncture mark, but no investigation was initiated. Well, why? Why did no one investigate why she had an puncture mark? I don't know. 5-month-old Paul Crompton was Beverly's next victim, placed on Ward 4 on March 20th, 1991, as a result of a non-serious bronchial infection. Before his discharge, Beverly was again attending him alone. There she summoned help as Paul appeared to be suffering from an insulin shock, going into a near coma on 3 separate occasions. Each time the doctors revived him, but were unable to explain the fluctuation in his insulin levels. And when he was taken to another hospital in the ambulance, Beverly Allitt rode with him. Again, he was found to have too much insulin, and Paul was extremely fortunate to have survived the ministrations of the angel of death. It was all right the next day. 5-year-old Bradley Gibson, who was a pneumonia sufferer, went into unexpected cardiac arrest, but he was saved by the resuscitation team. And subsequent blood tests showed his insulin was high, which made no sense to the attending physicians. And again, Beverly was in attendance, and this resulted in another heart attack later that night. And he was transported to Nottingham, where he recovered. And despite this alarming increase in the incidence of unexplained health events, all in the presence of Beverly, no suspicions were aroused at this time, and she continued her spree of violence unchecked. On March 22nd, 1991, 2-year-old victim Yike Hun Yan, I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, turned blue and appeared in considerable distress when Beverly raised the alarm, but he responded well to oxygen. Another attack resulted in his transferal to the large hospital in Nottingham, where he recovered, and his symptoms were attributed to a fractured skull and the result of a fall. And next, Beverly turned her attention to twins Katie and Becky Phillips next. They were 2 months old. He was kept in for OBS as a result of their premature delivery. And poor little Becky was brought in with gastroenteritis into Ward 4 on April 1st, 1991, when Beverly took over her care. 2 days later, Beverly raised the alarm, claiming Becky appeared hypoglycemic and cold to the touch, but no ailment was found, and Becky was sent home with her mother. During the night, she went into convulsions and cried out in an apparent pain, but when summoned, a doctor suggested she had colic, and her parents kept her in the bed for observation as she died during the night. Despite an autopsy, pathologists could find no clear cause of death. And Becky's surviving twin, Katie, was admitted to Grantham as a precaution, and unfortunately for her, Beverly was in attendance. It wasn't long before she was summoning the resuscitation team to revive Katie, who had stopped breathing. Efforts went in to revive Katie, were successful, but 2 days later she suffered a similar attack, which resulted in the collapse of her lungs. Following another revival effort, she was transferred to Nottingham, where it was found 5 of her ribs were broken, in addition to having suffered serious brain damage as a result of her oxygen deprivation. And in the complete twist of this story, in supreme twist of irony, Katie's mother, Sue Phillips, was so grateful to Beverly for saving her baby's life that she asked her to be Katie's godmother. And of course, Beverly accepted willingly, despite having inflicted partial paralysis, cerebral palsy, and sight and hearing damage on this infant. That hits quite close to home, because I was baptised when I was in hospital, because I was in hospital while I was at home, and I'm not sure if I had my mum had a nurse as a godparent for me. So it hits home a little bit, that. Thankfully, I had no nurses like Beverly Allitt. There were 4 more victims that had followed, but the high incidence of unexplained attacks in otherwise healthy patients and Beverly's attendance during these attacks finally caused suspicions to be raised at the hospital. Beverly Allitt's violent spree finally came to an end with the death of 15-month-old Claire Peck on April 22nd, 1991, an asthmatic child who required a breathing tube. While in Beverly's care for a few minutes, the infant, Claire Peck, suffered a heart attack and the resuscitation team revived her successfully. But in Beverly's presence again, the poor girl suffered again, from which she could not be revived from. An autopsy indicated that Claire had died from natural causes. An inquiry was initiated by a consultant at the hospital, Dr. Nelson Porter. He was alarmed by the high number of cardiac arrests over the previous 2 months on Ward 4. An airborne virus was initially suspected, but nothing was found on this. A test that revealed high level of potassium on Claire's blood resulted in police being summoned 18 days later. Her examination discovered traces of lignocaine in her system, a drug used during cardiac arrest but never given to a baby. Stuart Clifton, he was the police superintendent that was assigned to the investigation, suspected foul play and examined the other suspicion cases that had assumed that had occurred in the previous 2 months, finding inordinately high doses of insulin in most of the cases. Further evidence revealed that Beverly reported key missing to the insulin refrigerator. All records checked. Parents of the victims were interviewed and a security camera installed on Ward 4. And suspicions were raised when record checks revealed that they were missing daily nursing logs which corresponded to the time period when Paul Crompton had been in Ward 4. This is not good, nurses. When you're in the care industry, whether it's nursing or you're a care worker in a care home or a residential college, staff are required to write daily logs every day on the patients or the clients' residents so that it could, things like this can be traced back. Everybody knows what's going on then. It's just it is a typical thing to happen that needs to be done. When 25 separate suspicions episodes with 13 violent victims were identified, 4 of whom were dead, the only common factor was the presence of Beverly Allitt at every episode. 25 separate episodes with 13 victims were identified, 4 of whom were dead. Now I'm going to be talking about the trial. Beverly was charged with 4 counts of murder, 11 counts of attempted murder, and 11 counts of causing grievous bodily harm. Beverly entered pleas of not guilty to all charges. On the 28th of May 1993, She was found guilty on each charge and sentenced to 13 concurrent terms of life imprisonment, which she is serving at Rampton Secure Hospital in Nottinghamshire. Most recently, in 2018, on the Trevor McDonald show, which focused on the killer nurse about Beverly Allitt, Beverly allegedly told close friends before her trial that she'd never go to prison. After 1 week in prison, she refused to eat or drink and was moved to Rampton Secure Hospital. Two leading experts, a forensic psychologist, Jeremy Coyd, I think it says, criminologist Elizabeth Yardley, and they explained Beverly's mental state when she was arrested and concluded she was not mentally ill and should be in prison, not hospital. And Beverly also allegedly admitted to all 13 of her crimes and evaded its application to remain at Rampton Secure Hospital, apparently avoid prison. And then going back a few years before that, in December 2007, Mr. Justice Stanley Bernstein, sitting in the High Court of Justice in London, confirmed that Beverly must serve the original minimum sentence of 30 years. It was reported that some families of Beverly's victims had previously mistakenly believed that her minimum tariff had been set at 40 years. I feel really sad and upset that this person had caused these children to lose their lives, for other children to be left disabled, and to only serve 1 week in jail. Even though she's not psychiatrically ill, she's preying on her various fake illnesses and lapping it up in a hospital where it's like a holiday home. I'm speechless. Like, where is the justice in that? I just don't even know what to say. But that is all about Beverly Allitt. What are your thoughts? Do you think there could be any other way of making it harder for people to commit these crimes, especially in a care setting like a hospital or a school or a care home? I just don't know. I really don't. So I'd like to know your thoughts on this video and what I've talked about. Do you know any of the victims' families? I'd love to know how they're doing, and I hope that they're all okay. And I want to say thank you for watching this video, and thank you for watching this series so far. I am planning on focusing on male serial killers, and I'm just in two minds about where I'm going to go next. But please keep your eyes peeled and make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload in the future and you know what's going on. If you follow my Facebook page, which I will try and add the link down below in the description bar, you can follow me on there. I keep my views up to date, what's going on behind the scenes. So yeah, check that out, and I will see you in my next video. Okay, bye.